Yeah, they just did.
Okay, let us call the special call meeting for Wednesday, December 18, 2013 to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Majority Dr. Marshall.
Here.
County Treasurer David Lane.
Here.
County Attorney Keith Bartley.
Here.
Master of District Number 1 John Goldman.
Here.
Master of District Number 2 Hattie Owens.
Here.
Master of District Number 3 Warren Gerald.
Here.
Master of District Number 4 Ronnie Akers.
Here.
All present, Judge.
Thank you, Brother Chris. Let us stand for a word of opening prayer and remain standing and pledge the flag. Chris, would you like to lead us in this prayer?
We bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you during this season of Christmas, and it's so easy to forget truly what Christmas is all about. It's the birth of you, and not only what it's about, the birth of you, but also the purpose why you came, and that was to die on the cross to pay the penalty and price for our sins. And we just want to thank you for that right now. Now, dear Heavenly Father, as I always do, I ask for wisdom and knowledge to be given to this court, help them to make choices that needs to be made. It's what's best for this county, and help them to be able to find solutions to some very difficult problems. We ask it all in your precious holy name. Amen.
Let us pledge the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Article 5 is the approval of minutes.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, seconded by Magistrate Goebel. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Master John Goebel.
Aye.
Master Hattie Owens.
Aye.
Master Warren Gerald.
Aye.
Master Ronnie Akers.
4.
Article 6, the Treasurer's report. Is there any discussion on the Treasurer's report at this time? Okay. Article 7, comments from the Department of Local Government. We have Mr. Matthew Froelich and Tommy Dodson.
You all hear me okay? I'm not going to use this if I don't necessarily want to. As the judge said, my name is Matt Froelich. I'm with the Department for Local Governments. I'm a local government advisor. There's actually 3 of us, myself and Robert Brown, who is a state local finance officer. Robert wanted to be here today, but he's actually expecting twins any day now, so he couldn't really afford to be away from home, but he sends his regards. Our primary responsibility at the Department for Local Government is to make sure that counties are functioning fiscally. As you know, you are an arm of the state government. You provide services on their behalf, and for that reason, the state likes to keep a watchful eye on you. More so than they do with cities and things such as special districts, because for a county, you have to remain solvent so you can provide those services. Cities, special districts, they can fold, they can file bankruptcy, they can disappear. For counties, they cannot. About 3 years ago, the former state local finance officer, Junior Wright, came to the county, and he made comments at that time that essentially said, at the rate you all are going, you will be broke in a matter of years. Well, since those 3 years, unfortunately, revenue has not gone up in the county. As a matter of fact, due to, as you're well aware, in Eastern Kentucky, coal receipts have gone down, revenue's gone down. Unfortunately, on the other side, expenses have not gotten any less. Health insurance has gone up, retirement's gone up, things just cost more. So all that has really done is exasperated your issue from 3 years ago. It's put you on the fast track. And last year, I in particular worked with the judge and treasurer trying to put together a balanced budget. And we had to cut coal severance projections at that time because we knew they were going to be down. We also recommended, like we do in a handful of counties, we know that the situation is difficult, present a handful of budget options to the fiscal court, let the fiscal court decide what kind of balanced budget they want to choose. And the judge with the treasurer did that. And if I remember correctly, it was somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 budgets that they possibly presented, ranging with all different kinds of options. And the fiscal court chose, at that time, essentially to operate for more or less the same kind of budget you had been in the past. Well, unfortunately, I'm here to tell you, because of that, after talking to the treasurer, looking at some numbers with him, I'm in complete agreement that the rate that you are going, if you don't address this issue, you're going to be in somewhere in the range of a $400,000 or $500,000 deficit before the end of this fiscal year. And that is a true and accurate projection. The problem with that is you are not legally allowed to operate in a deficit. You cannot. If you find yourself getting to a deficit, our office is required legally to step in during the current fiscal year. You must have a balanced budget and operate in a balanced situation. So it is incumbent upon you all to take whatever steps you need to get things right in the next 6 months. And I've been looking at this about 3 ways. You have three issues here. One, you have the current fiscal year. The rate that you're going to be out of balance. And we're going to have to step in at that point. Assuming that you can address that, you still have a budget for 2014, 2015 you're going to have to pass. And you have to do that by July 1st. Failure to have a balanced budget passed by July 1st is also going to mean our office is legally going to have to step in and take you to circuit court. So you have the current year, you have next year. What you do in the next 6 months for this year is going to go a long way in how you can even look at addressing the 2014, 2015 budget. And not take any action in this year means that deficit has to be placed in 2014, 2015. And I can guarantee you right now, you will never be able to pass a budget next year, including that deficit in it. And our office will require that deficit to be placed in it because you're going to have to pay those vendors. You're actually legally obligated to pay your vendors within 30 days of receipt of invoice. So failure to do that allows them to sue you if they want. So even if we get into 14-15, because it's your 4th year in office, there's something called terminating restrictions on spending. So if we can get a passed budget for 14-15, you are only legally allowed to spend 65% of any money in any given fund in the first 6 months in office. If things are that tight and you cross that 65% threshold, the penalty for that is removal from office. So you're out of office anyway. So really you have 3 things that you have to look at. You have the immediate with this slide that you're on right now. You have next year just getting a passed budget. And then you have actually how you go about spending your money next year with the 65-35 terminating restrictions on spending. Really, there are a handful of things that you can do. You really, at the end of the day, you have 3 options. You can raise revenue, you can cut expenditures, or you can do a combination of both. It is not our office's place to tell you how you go about doing it. It is just our legal obligation to make sure that it's done. Now, when it comes to raising revenue, you really only have 3 options. One is property tax. And when I say you only have 3 options, I'm talking about really unrestricted money. There are a lot of options, little things that you can do to raise revenue, but property tax is one. As you know, you're really restricted to 4% for the most part, but that time's already passed. You've already passed your property taxes for your rates for next year, so there's not really much you can do there. And the amount of money that you can take in is really a small amount. It's fractional. You have an insurance premium tax. This is actually a tax on the insurance companies to do business within the county. Okay? But as you know, it usually ends up being a small assessment that gets passed on to the insurance policy holder. Okay? And that is actually collected by the Department of Insurance, assessed and handled by the Department of Insurance, and they send the money directly to you. It's nothing you all have to do. In order to pass an insurance premium tax of any kind, it has to be completed, done by ordinance by March 23rd, and it doesn't go into effect until July 1. So that doesn't help you right now, but it could help you in 2014-15 budget moving forward. Then you have an occupational tax. Occupational tax is just that. It's a tax essentially on the receipts of people working in the county. It's something that we can provide a projection for you. It's a difficult tax in the sense that it taxes the people. And for you all, if you have a lot of coal miners that are out of work, it's hard to really give you a projection right now because it's based upon occupation numbers. So if you were, and things fall about a year behind, so if you were up here, we give you a projection. It might actually be here depending upon how many people are out of work. And if your biggest employers are people like your school board and your hospitals and things of that nature, county government, that's who you're going to be taxing. It does tend to bring in the largest amount of revenue though, however. And you can set limits on it, how big the percentage is, quarter, half, 1. And so there are a lot of different things that you can look at doing. You can do little other things like restaurant tax, transient room tax, which are taxes on the hotel. Those things are have to be used for tourism. Unfortunately, those receipts are restricted. But if you have parks, golf courses, things of that nature, that kind of money could be used on those things, and it could free up some of those unrestricted receipts to do other things with. So there is some options with that, but again, they're restricted and the amount tends to be a small amount. 400, 500,000, the way that you're moving right now, I mean, if you're purely going to do this on receipt, it's going to take a big receipt. The other option is to cut expenditures. Now, unfortunately, you have things that are mandated by state law that you have to pay for that you simply cannot cut. And looking at your budget and quarterly reports, there aren't a whole lot of non-mandated expenditures out there. The problem is when you start looking at those non-mandated expenditures, I can guarantee you right now they're the things that you all want to be providing. The things that we're talking about that you can look at are things like laying off county employees, furloughing county employees. The one that's probably the biggest as far as monetary to you all, and that is health insurance. Health insurance is not a mandated expense of the county. It's a wonderful benefit that you all provide. As you know, a lot of county employees probably work strictly for the health insurance benefit. But you all pay about $620,000 in health insurance right now. So you can look at things like cutting it. You can look at things like maybe changing what your policy is to cut the cost to the county. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure what your policy is, but if you're offering more than individuals, if you're getting into full family at 75%, maybe you look at rebidding your health insurance at a different policy. Some things that can save you money. The other things, you're talking about things like you donate money to any kind of non-governmental entity. If you do donations, your park system. Things you do to benefit your senior citizens, things of that nature. They're great, wonderful things that county government provides, but the state government says you don't have to. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of those things that you do, but they are the things that affect the citizens a lot of times the most and that they expect from county government. And thirdly, what you can do is a combination of both. You can look at putting on some kind of way of generating some revenue and cutting expenditures as well. And to be honest, looking at your financial condition, where you're headed and how tight your budget is, I find it hard to believe that you're going to be able to do this without some form of combination of both. Unless you're going to take a hatchet to health insurance, I don't know that you can cut enough receipts to make this happen. And I just want you all to know that this is not uncommon. Unfortunately, between the state of the economy has affected everyone across the state. We've seen everyone tightening their belts in the last 2 or 3 years. You add to that the coal issue in eastern Kentucky, it has hit this region even harder. And we understand that. But unfortunately, it's the reality of where we are. And not changing spending habits and having the cost of things going up while not having any revenue, having revenue go down, has unfortunately put us where we are. And our main priority is to make sure that you all are fiscally solvent, and we will do anything in our possible power to help you get that way and remain that way. But at the end of the day, we have a legal obligation under the Constitution and state law under KRS to make sure that you all are operating under a balanced budget for this current year, and that you can balance a budget for 14-15. And we want you to know that we are here to help in any way that we can, but at the end, that's what we're required to do. There are a handful of other things that you can do right now to help. I'll be honest, the judge and treasurer told us the number of county vehicles you have. I pretty much fell out of my chair. I don't know of a county this size that has a fleet the size that you all operate. Parking vehicles will save on wear and tear, and it'll save on the gas. If you have something that is not required, that someone is not required to be driving for a duty of their job, a purpose of their job, parking a vehicle might not be a bad thing. You're about to pass budgets for the clerk and sheriff. The nice thing about the clerk is the clerk collects receipts for you, constantly collecting money for you. Sheriff collects taxes and passes those receipts on to you. Also provides public safety for your citizens. Wonderful things. Wonderful things. However, you all get to choose how much you supplement and help them. You have no obligation to provide money to them legally. It's a wonderful thing if you're able to do that. It might help them with more deputies. It might help them with their office. But it's not something you're legally obligated to do. It's non-mandated. They are a fee office, and actually under the law, they're required to run themselves. So, again, talking about things that are not popular, we understand that. But again, we want you all to know that we're here to help in any way that we possibly can. But again, our main job is to make sure that you all are fiscally solvent and functioning properly. And that's why we're here today. So, thank you for your time. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Can you stay around after, or before we adjourn the meeting and have like a work session with you or something where we can sort of discuss some of this stuff? Or do you have to leave now?
We can potentially stay. The question, I mean, I suppose I have to look at, Tom, are we able to physically even do that?
Possibly. That's far as we cannot be involved in it if it's a quorum.
Right.
Court, if you have a majority of court members there, we can't participate. Nor should you, really, if that's the case. But as far as discussing certain things, that's a possibility we can do that.
If you'd like to schedule something,
But
and we can set
truth of the
something
matter
up
is,
and
though,
schedule something.
I suggest though that it also be open and not behind closed doors.
No. In this meeting here, not to adjourn the meeting so it would still be classified as a meeting where we could all be together.
You're operating under a special called meeting, so you can't deviate from the agenda at all. That's the other thing, the other issue you have. So if you would like,
You know that you're on the agenda?
I'm the comments from DLG. So, but I mean, we're more than happy to come back. If you want us back here tomorrow, come back tomorrow. We're more than happy to help.
We'd like for you to come back and set up a work session with us where we can actually, everybody can talk and know and hear and things, not know he says, she says.
Absolutely, be happy to do it. That's our job. That's why we're here.
I mean, if you fellas have the time, I think what she's actually saying that you don't understand is that she wants to do that in this meeting. You are on the agenda today for this special meeting. there's just several other issues of business that she thinks we'd like to get through.
That's fine.
And do that at the end.
Yeah, we're happy to stay if you would like us to stay. But like I said, we just want to make sure we're not deviating from the agenda on a special call meeting. So.
You're on the agenda.
They are on the comments on the agenda.
That's all they can do is comment first.
We're adhering to the meeting. Okay, Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
Do we need to make a motion to set up a work session before,
If you want a separate one, yeah.
I mean, if they can't stay today,
I think he's saying they can.
or they can now?
Okay, Article 7. I'd like to make a motion to go to executive session for the purpose of discussing 2 issues that may require or be possible litigation only.
You make the motion, John?
And if y'all have other issues for that executive session, certainly you need to announce what those issues would be.
I am stating that there are only 2 issues that will be presented in executive session.
Really don't care what you're stating, Judge. The executive session is on the agenda. And if these magistrates have other issues, and if they want to announce to these folks what those issues are that they want to address, they can do that.
Personnel is covered under that?
Surplus property.
No,
If you wish to discuss personnel, it needs to be done in executive session, and you would need to announce that to these folks.
What about the surplus products, the surplus property?
That doesn't have to be done in
neither,
executive session.
neither of these are at this meeting. I'll be more than glad to meet with you individually and at another meeting and discuss personnel or discuss property. But at this meeting, I'm saying that we have 2 issues I want to address.
So the very things that we talked about last week that this group wanted to do to address this budget shortfall that these gentlemen are here to talk to us about, you don't want to discuss today.
I don't think it's appropriate. This is a special call meeting. This is a meeting for this.
We thought this was a purpose for this.
Absolutely. it
And
was.
That's why we're here.
Is there not items on this?
We know what was said last week, Judge.
Well-
What the purpose of this meeting was to discuss the budget shortfall. If you don't want to discuss it, then but they can call a special meeting if the magistrates choose to. And if you don't want to address those issues, then you might as well just go ahead and give them the keys to the place because DOG just take over and let them run the show.
That's been our problem all along. Communication and games.
Well, we're going to discuss personnel if we go back there.
That's what you're saying. I'm saying that we have 2 issues
Well,
we need to discuss.
you just make the motion to go back.
And I think we're saying that we're going to discuss personnel and go to executive session. And I mean, if we need to make that form of motion, we can. Because we spent 4 hours the other day deciding what we were going to do here to try to help them.
Hearing none, there's not a second, and it fails, so there will be no executive session. Article 9, under new business, Resolution 8. SB 13-1201, transfers.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Akers.
David, can you explain again to me on that solid waste, on the elections, how come it was down
Help me, what are you talking about?
Like, here it says, we're transferring to the solid waste collection, $49,600. Now, we were down the other day in our treasurer's report, saying we only collected $75,000.
No, we're losing $70,000 in solid waste because we didn't pass an increase in our garbage rate when they went from 158, now we're
In
paying
the
100.
treasurer's report, in the receipts, you had down that we received 75,000. We normally received 149 to 150-some thousand.
You had Thanksgiving on Thursday, okay? Sandra did a deposit on Wednesday and deposited the money. I couldn't get it out on Thursday. Friday, when I went to the bank, it was already past 2:30, so I put it in on the 1st, December the 1st. Solid waste collections next month, instead of being 160, will be 210. But the reason you're transferring money here is because our rate went up from when we did a budget in May, when we were figuring our budget, then Waste Connections raised the rate up $7,000 a month. So therefore, you have to transfer money in to make up the difference.
And do you have any idea of what percentage we're collecting?
I have no idea.
So there may not be 70,000, we're collecting the correct amount.
I'm really not concerned. I am concerned with the revenue. With this right here is nothing but an expenditure. You're just putting money in a budget, monopoly money back into the budget account so you can pay the bill. So you're
The 150,000 to contracted services, is that paid?
well, you all did blacktop work.
Or
The extra blacktop work that you guys went and Greg gave the county, that wasn't in our budget. So you have to come up with transfers to be able to pay those bills. That's what that money's for. There's a resolution in this court meeting talking about that particular bill, so it's trying to cover it.
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Magistrate John Goldman. Magistrate Hattie Owens.
4.
Magistrate Warren Jarrett. Magistrate Ronnie Akins.
Resolution B, SB 131202 is our Mountain Comprehensive Care Center grant payments.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Goebel, seconded by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Magistrate John Goldman.
Aye.
Magistrate Hattie Owens.
4.
Magistrate Warren Jarrett. Magistrate Ronnie Akins. 4.
Resolution C, SB 131203 is an incentive payment for the jailer of 96299. That is 1 unit completed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, seconded by Magistrate Goebel. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Magistrate John Goldman.
Aye.
Magistrate Hattie Owens.
4.
Magistrate Warren Jarrett. Magistrate Ronnie Akins. 4.
Resolution D, SP 131204. This is the Floyd County Clerk's 2013 budget amendment. Any questions addressed to Chris, Wall?
This budget basically deals with 2013 and it actually is a reduction of about $1.1 million what the budget was last year, so I'm just amending it to reflect that. This is only for 2013, only has nothing to do with 2014.
And that's because of a shortage in receipts.
Yeah.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Magistrate Owens. Second by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Magistrate John Goble.
Aye.
Magistrate Hattie Owens.
4.
Magistrate Warren Jarrett. Magistrate Ronnie Akins.
Resolution E, SP 131205 is a tax bill payment.
Motion.
Clerk's office.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, seconded by Magistrate Goble. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Magistrate John Goble.
Aye.
Magistrate Hattie Owens.
4.
Magistrate Warren Jarrett. Magistrate Ronnie Akins.
Resolution F, SP 13-1206 is a regular claims list.
Judge, this 17,500 for the senior citizens, that is the quarterly payment.
It is, correct. 17.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Akers, second by Magistrate Gerald. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Goble,
Oh,
Master Hattie Owens,
For,
Master Warren Jerem, Master Ronnie Akers.
Resolution G, SP 13-1207. This is the Floyd County Sheriff's Department State Advancement and Advancement Bonds.
motion.
I really don't say you can vote on that today, because of the changes you were talking about last week would adversely change how much that bond would need to be, how much his receipts would be, how much his expenditures would be. I don't see how you can not address those very issues and yet sit here and vote on that.
I rescind my motion.
Special meeting can't be sorry.
No problem, I'll wait.
I just don't see how you can possibly do it. If you're gonna make any of those changes you discussed last Friday, that will change this bond.
We're tabling the
Motion table.
Resolution G is tabled, next stated meeting.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Magistrate Gerald.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Akers. Resolution H, SP 13-1208, County Sheriff Department, County Revenue Bond.
Let's ask Pam, the revenue bond is just based upon the estimate of receipts next year, correct?
Yes, that's to cover the tax money we collect for the
Yeah,
court.
I think that one's totally different. I don't think you could do that, but that,
So that should be a lot higher than it is. So 200,000 does not cover, you can start to cover what we give the different ones.
Yeah.
I just see that one as different, Pam, because that doesn't
That-
take into account your all's office
Reflect revenue.
expenditures.
Right.
Right.
And that motion to table, I need to call the roll.
Yes. Chris did call for it.
John Goble, Master John, Master Hattie Owens,
For,
Master Warren Jerem,
Forward.
Master Ronnie Akers.
That's Resolution G. Okay, Resolution H in regard to the county revenue bond. Who made that motion? Motion by Magistrate Goble,
second.
second by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Goble, Master Hattie Owens, Master Warren Jerem, Master Ronnie Akers.
Resolution I, SP 13-1209, partial acceptance of the clerk's excess fees.
Well, we talked about that at one point when doing this, and we talked about just give it all at one lump sum there at the end of February, right there at March, actually by March 15th, on that. And so, I guess this is actually passed like there, whatever, on that part.
Well, if you don't have any turnover partially right now, we just need to table a resolution
Yeah,
or
just
do away
table
with
it,
it, whatever. we
yeah.
do.
Motion table.
Motion by Magistrate Gerald to table Resolution I. seconded by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Commissioner John Goble,
4.
Commissioner Hattie Owens,
4.
Mr. Warren Gerald, Mr. Ronnie Akers.
Resolution J, SB 131210 is the supplemental claims list. We have not received this money as of yet, but when it is received, it is as received the figures paid to these, to Island Paving and Mountain Enterprise. Motion by Magistrate Goble.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Gerald. Clerk will call the roll for the vote.
Commissioner John Goble, Commissioner Hattie Owens,
4.
Mr. Warren Gerald, Mr. Ronnie Akers.
Resolution K, SB 131211, dealing with surplus property that we have at the county garage at this time.
Has anybody started putting their list together?
Mike has started that.
Now,
Judge,
this is the land.
This is the land
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
we talked about.
I'm sorry, the property, yes.
I'm going to table it.
This is to hire Hansel, which is a professional service anyway, but to hire him to go out and appraise the 3 parcels of property we talked about. He's supposed to be doing that today. I spoke with him. And then it goes back of setting a date and a time to sell the property.
I say we table that part until we have another special meeting to decide how much the appraisals and everything is.
We have regular meeting Friday.
By that time, we'll have,
Yeah,
Fridays are regular meeting.
Fridays are regular meetings.
won't be all the appraisals done to them, you know?
Excuse me?
Appraisals be done to them?
They should be. I mean, he's got comps to go by, and then the PVA office has values already set on the property, so.
We don't have to have a resolution to have them appraised.
No, y'all mentioned them the other day, so I thought he ought to be put down, and then,
It's the second part of that proposed resolution, because it actually sets a date for,
Auction.
chooses an auction company and sets a date for the sale.
well, I mean, you could,
Now, if you're tabling it, then you're tabling it, but if you want to go forward with that sale on that date and that time, then you can go ahead and take it up.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, second by Magistrate Gerald to table resolution 11.
But he will be appraising it.
Table it before we get appraised.
yeah.
Clerk will call the roll.
Commissioner John Goble,
4.
Commissioner Hattie Owens,
4.
Mr. Warren Gerald, Mr. Ronnie Akers.
Resolution L, SB 131212, surplus vehicles and equipment. This
Yes.
is what Mike is working on, as I was told.
It's also got a date of sale here too, but we don't have a list of the stuff that we're actually voting on to surplus.
Right?
We need to wait till we get the list to surplus, so that needs to be put on the meeting Friday too.
I got the list.
Well, we don't have the list, we don't have a copy of it, and we don't know, it just says that we're authorizing you and Mike to
That's
give us a list to do,
correct.
so we'd be voting on something that we don't even have a list on.
Right.
So
You'll have to see the
I make a
list.
motion we table this one too until next week.
I second it.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, second by Magistrate Gerald. Mike, they were just asking about a list. You made it in
On what?
on equipment,
Okay.
surplus equipment.
And vehicles.
How's that coming?
Have it ready by Friday?
Yeah, I can read this right.
Okay, Magistrate Owens made and seconded by Magistrate Gerald. Clerk will call the roll to table resolution 12. Yes.
Commissioner John Goble,
4.
Commissioner Hattie Owens,
4.
Mr. Warren Gerald, Mr. Ronnie Akers.
Resolution M, SB 131213 is dealing with the homes, vehicles, and lights.
I think we'd all agree to park all vehicles unless it was an emergency situation, or park them here at everywhere our entity is. And if you go to work from one office that's where your vehicle should be parked. You drive your own vehicle to that position and get in the county vehicle if you've got a job to do. Just like if you work here at this courthouse, the vehicle should be sitting there in parking. And I mean all offices, 911, all offices under the fiscal court bond.
Okay, we're acting on this. Are you wanting to table this resolution as it is? Because this specifically
You can pass
states.
this one, do another one next time. I mean, this gets us started.
I just think we need to amend this one.
Do whatever you want to do.
As the boy from DOG said, we need to make a start here, and I mean, this is a good start.
Yep.
We agreed to do this the other day, park all vehicles, and I think it was the road foreman told, I know all of our county vehicles, that the road foreman can park. So yes, you still got several running right here.
This proposed resolution doesn't say park all vehicles. It says park all vehicles with a few exceptions.
Can we amend this in the special
It's a
meeting?
special meeting, but it is a resolution on the agenda. I think it can be done.
If you need to table this one and address it in the manner that you wish for it to be addressed, it needs to be tabled again, because if this be the case.
Well, I'll make the motion that we all vehicles be shut off as of today, parked here at the county garage or at the county parking lots that each district has, and each entity should be parked here at the courthouse if you have an office here. And same with the cell phones, the only two people that I think needs a cell phone is the road foreman, and I say the county judge actually needs one, in case of emergency.
Well, we're required for the dog warden, and if he's out on a dog catcher, how you want to notify him?
Got a radio on that truck.
Okay, well, forward on.
Every one of them got radios. That's how
I didn't know.
Well, all the vehicles got radios.
all vehicles got
Not
radios.
one, no.
Or not? Do they have a way to radio from in here?
We used to.
How would they get a hold of it, is what I'm saying?
Well, there's enough radios we can change around to get it done.
Forward on.
I'm supposed to take all everybody's phones,
Take them on.
all, fair for one.
There's no problem with that. I mean, from my standpoint.
I've always used my private number anyway.
Me too.
Yeah, I've never used county phones.
Me.
Can you change it, Keith?
Can we amend
You
this?
know, I hate to laugh, because it's certainly not funny. But for you to sit there and say that you don't have a problem with taking all the vehicles, when you put together a resolution that it specifically accepted your vehicle, it's utterly ridiculous.
What
You
put in the
just
paper
sat there and
2 years
said you
ago,
have no
you
problem
turned your
parking
name
all
in.
vehicles, but that's not what this document
I
says.
said I didn't have a problem with my giving up my cell phone or my vehicle.
Then why did your proposed resolution specifically say you'd be allowed to keep yours? You really don't, because it's obvious.
Okay, so you want to table this resolution?
No.
We're gonna amend this resolution.
Gonna amend it.
Amend it? Amend it? You're saying all, let's just put all in front of it. That's correct, that's correct. We park them all.
And phones.
Yes. David, you have the.
All you just need to do is where it says it deems it necessary to turn in and shut off all cell phones, put a period right there and make a line through the rest of it.
Okay, who made the motion?
Same way on the
I
video.
made the motion.
Motion by Magistrate Goble, second by Magistrate Gerald.
Wait just a minute.
And then on the second
On the second
paragraph,
paragraph.
after home, put a period there and just make a line through all that.
You wanna make me a new resolution, Diane?
I don't have, and we can, I mean, if it's on Lois's computer, she'll be able to just knock that out, she'll be.
Who's
Stop
second?
it there with the theme and next one.
But you'll have a new resolution typed up before we sign, to sign for the record, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And there's a problem there, we can't shut, the lights should be turned off, but we can't turn all the power off. because we have to keep heat stuff in the building.
Lights
Says
are
furthermore,
not-
the lights at all county parks are deemed seasonal and should be turned off immediately. The court hereby authorizes the finance officer to call the power companies and shut the lights off. It doesn't say power, does it?
I just wanted to make that sure.
Oh.
Cut it out.
These were referring to walking
Walking
tracks. Walking tracks.
Well, we have a golf course considered a park too, that's the reason I just want to make sure.
Okay. Who made the motion?
I did.
John?
Warren second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Master John Goble,
Aye.
Master Hattie Owens,
Do we need to put on their lights at walking tracks at park, so they won't go and turn it all off?
That's it.
Well, we can, but
You need to make it specific, you really do.
We need to change it to lights around the walking tracks at parks until spring.
We'll just put quotations and put, after county parks, put walking trails,
Yeah, walking tracks.
walking tracks.
That should be the ball fields.
All right, are deemed seasonal.
Warren Gerald,
4.
Ronnie Aikens, 4.
I was full.
You kidding me, but I'm told.
okay, the next is Resolution NSP 131314. This is the Southern Water Lease Agreement.
We can, I want to make a motion to table that too, till we discuss it. Keith ain't talked to them, we need to sit down and get an agreement with them, then we'll bring it back.
As far as I know, nobody's discussed it with them, so.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
don't really have an agreement to
But they
prepare
wanna-
a written agreement.
They wanna work something out, right? Is that the-
Yeah, I mean, level like it, you know,
We
Keith
need
has
to
to sit
make
down and
what
talk.
Keith authorized you to go forward with this.
If you folks want me to take the lead on that as far as discussion with
Yeah.
Southern Water people, an agreement for the lease of those tanks and lines, I'll be happy to do it if that's what y'all want.
That's what I want. Motion.
I think that's what the agreement actually, or the resolution states, that
What is their actual bond on it? What will we actually pay out?
I gave it to you, I don't have it in front of me.
What's with that?
okay. So, who made the motion?
I just make a motion to table till Keith talks to them, and gets,
You can just amend the resolution to give him, like you just saying, give him permission to talk to them, or whatever you want to do, and rock and roll.
we're still getting permission to do it.
You really need to sit down and discuss it with them like adults, as opposed to trying to dictate terms to people.
So I just make a motion to table till he brings us something back.
Well, we make a motion to authorize Keith to negotiate with,
Draft agreement.
or draft an agreement, at least whatever.
We need to meet with them and see if it's possible to even get an agreement.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
They might
on
know.
on the second paragraph, Floyd County Fiscal Court deems necessary to request the county attorney Keith Bartlett to draft an agreement and meet with the Southern Water and Sewer District.
You can't draft nothing if you don't know what to draft.
He's exactly right.
Well, I
What
mean,
we
you
do is
changed the wording.
Meet with them, and if we're able to reach an agreement between the two bodies, then we'll draft the
Okay.
written document.
Flip flop.
Yeah.
Table? Table. Motion by Magistrate Gerald. Second by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Goble,
Forward.
Master Hattie Owens,
This is to table this resolution.
Yeah.
4.
Master Warren Gerald,
Forward.
Master Ronnie Aikens, 4.
Resolution O, SB 131215 is dealing with season workers.
Make a motion, we table this till we can. So we can? I'm just confused, we're going to take session all day. Make a motion to, would this be put on the agenda for Friday? Table it till Friday.
Table till next stated communication.
Table. Second.
So Friday.
To Friday's
Right.
regular meeting.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, second by Magistrate Gerald. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Gold,
Four.
Master Hattie Owens,
4.
Master Warren Jarrell. 4. Master Ronnie Akers. 4.
Resolution P, SB 13-12-16.
If I could, Judge, could I pertain to that?
You can. I was gonna ask you to.
At our last workshop meeting we had, prior to that workshop meeting, I had submitted a budget that I turned in at that time. And then we talked about all the hardship that the county was going through and had, and some of you all asked me, what can you do, on yours? And so I have went back and I looked and I said, if you all got to make tough decisions, I'll make tough decisions too, because we're a team. And so I've got another budget here that I'm going to submit, and then I'll pay my own health insurance, and what I feel that I can try to do is for the first 6 months at least pay my retirement also, up till June. At least half of that, with at least half of my retirement, I'm doing that. And so I fixed another budget up to reflect that in it. And so I've got them here to give to you all, so whatever y'all want to do. Let me pass them out.
Make it that way, Papa.
And basically, that was the only two things, that line items that I changed, basically was I changed the, to reflect the retirement for half of the year, and paying my own insurance in there also.
I make a motion to take this and study it and put it on the agenda for Friday's meeting, so we have time to look over it.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, second by Magistrate Goble on SB 13-12-16. And it'll also be reflected at another meeting.
Who made the motion? Harry?
Hattie and John. Master John Goble.
4.
Master Hattie Owens.
4.
Master Warren Jarrell. 4. Master Ronnie Akers.
4.
Resolution Q, SB 13-12-17, 2014 maximum amount for deputy clerks.
We need to table that too until we pass the budget,
Yes.
so that will be on Friday's meeting too.
Yep.
Motion. Table.
Motion by Magistrate Goble,
Second.
second by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Goble.
4.
Master Hattie Owens.
4.
Master Warren Jarrell. 4. Master Ronnie Akers.
4.
We're just not tabling stuff, just throw it away, but on that, we can't pass if we don't pass the clerk's budget, we can't set the amount of deputies that he can have in his office, so we have to table both resolutions.
Resolution R, SB 13-12-18 is the approval of the Floyd County Sheriff's Department 2014 budget.
Yeah, we
Motion to table that one also, Judge, till we further. To Friday meeting.
Okay. Motion by Magistrate Goble,
second.
second by Magistrate Owens, table resolution 18. The approval of the Sheriff Department 2013 budget. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner John Goodman.
Aye.
Commissioner Hattie Owens.
4,
Commissioner William Jerry.
Forward.
Commissioner Ronnie A.
Resolution SSP 131219 is also the Floyd County Sheriff's Department's salary cap for 2014.
again, we can't pass that until we pass the budget, so I make a motion to table it to Friday.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Owens, seconded by Magistrate Goble to table the resolution number 19, resolution S number 19. Clerk will call the roll.
Commissioner John Goodman.
Four.
Commissioner Hattie Owens.
4,
Commissioner William Jerry. Commissioner Ronnie Akers. 4. Those budgets have to be in place before the first of the year, so.
Let me, and I beg your pardon that I don't remember your last name. Is it possible for you gentlemen to be back here Friday? We have a regular scheduled meeting at 10 o'clock on third Friday of every month. Is it possible for you to be back here then? Don't run off, don't run off. This could get interesting. Is it possible for all you folks to come back Friday at 10 o'clock and we'll discuss all these issues that you came here today to hear? Come back Friday at 10 o'clock, when it's a regular meeting, you have your opportunity to speak. At a special meeting, the one thing they know is you can't speak.
I have to get it approved from upper management, but I personally am available, but they have to seek out some approval.
And the reason why that's important is, we had a meeting just last week. In last week's meeting, we discussed what actions we were going to take today. And obviously that didn't happen today. And it didn't happen, in my opinion, because the judge didn't want it to happen. But we have a regular scheduled meeting for Friday. And as you know, at a regular scheduled meeting with a regular agenda, then there can be actions taken whether the judge likes it or not, and whether it's on the agenda or not. So if you're here then able to answer the questions these folks may have, I think they'll take all the appropriate steps to answer all of your own concerns. They just were limited today and unable to do so for reasons beyond these magistrates' control.
I can tell you, and I'm going to speak on behalf of my commissioner because he said this before, and I don't want me to say it now. The one thing we will not do, and we will never do, is interject ourselves in politics. That is not our job, and that's something we will certainly not do.
It really is not a political thing. I think they have legitimate issues
We're
to
just letting
discuss
you know from
with
our
you all.
perspective. So yes, if we can be here, we will be here on Friday.
I appreciate it if it's possible.
Motion to adjourn.
do we need to make a motion or anything to add all this stuff to the thing, or is it already?
All of the issues that you handled today for various reasons should be on Friday's agenda. If it's not, it's a regular meeting, so you can amend the agenda in the meeting.
I just want to make one statement that everything that we talked about basically in Friday's meeting was put on this agenda.
But Judge, it's
Judge,
all put on here.
dealt with.
There's not another person in this room that was at last Friday's meeting that would agree with you, except maybe your wife. Every other person here heard different things.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
No, not yet, because I think Keith has a point there, Judge. We discussed lots of things, and the way you wrote this is just the way that you want it.
Hey,
That's not
John.
what, I don't think you have a voice in it, Paul, so
Oh,
just be
yes,
quiet.
I do, because you brought me
No.
up.
No, I didn't bring it
Well,
up.
somebody
I'm
did.
just saying,
And
what
those,
we
I
agreed
did
to
not write those resolutions.
Hey, it's on camera. If anybody wants to watch it, they can see if we discussed everything today we
I did
discussed last
not.
Friday. Everybody come back, and we'll hear the rest of the story on Friday if you got time.
I did not prepare those resolutions, John.
well, the names was put on this to be laid off.
I
On
didn't,
this.
I did
You
not
put them
write
on
that. I did not.
Who prepared it?
David
did.
did those resolutions.
You've done those resolutions?
Just on what you all said. I mean,
Well, there wasn't none of the people we listed on here, the way it was listed.
but what you all said the other day was parks and seasonal employees, and you started the agenda, and
I
I helped
did,
you, I helped you
exactly.
manage the court meeting. But
I
I mean, you
did.
can't blame that stuff back on me, Lois. I mean,
When David, I had the 14 resolutions of our meeting until Friday's meeting.
Well,
The others were prepared, but I did not prepare those. We sat right here in this meeting, and I talked to Warren, I talked to you about those resolutions, and you all told me what, basically, I didn't know how to write up those resolutions, so how could I write them?
Well, you should put your name at the top of the one to be laid off.
Well, so be it.
I mean, that should have been one of the top things.
Well,
Because, you know,
that's your opinion, John.
I think it's been
You're
in this
entitled
court.
to it.
Well, we discussed dozens of issues to address these budget concerns, of which none of them today, or very, very few of them today, were actually even on the agenda. And it was obvious that, you know, the judge doesn't want to discuss it.
We wanted to go.
That's why he wanted to limit that executive session to litigation only.
Those resolutions, in that meeting, I sit right over here, John had some input in on them, I talked to Warren about the resolutions, and David, I mean, I didn't know how to write up those resolutions you all discussed, I'll be honest about it.
If we discuss them all in a regular meeting, then everybody's entitled to discuss it, everybody's entitled to voice their opinion. Business can be done out in the open.
In a special meeting, our hands are tied and you're all there too.
You all can't speak, and we can't hear you. This is what's on this agenda.
So Friday's a regular meeting, everybody please come back.
And that's the reason we tabled a lot of this stuff, because there's wording in here that wasn't actually on that, it's the judge's opinion.
Well, John, why don't you write up the resolution that you want to write up and hand them in to me?
Yes.
I'll be happy for you to do that, but I want you to do it.
I'll
You.
speak the resolution.
But
at
you.
meeting.
No one else but you, because you're the one that's having problems.
I'll speak the, I think this whole court does. And I think if you ask, you'll find out.
Motion to adjourn. I made the motion. Second by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Gold,
Say.
Master Hattie Owens, Master Warren Gerald, Master Ronnie Akins.